Hi, you're listening to the My Body, My Story podcast.
If you're going to make it work, you just have to accept yourself. If you don't accept yourself, whatever you do, shopping, surgical procedures, Botox, it doesn't matter. You will still feel like it doesn't work.
This is the 45 over 45 chapter where we celebrate rule breakers and role models, the women who inspire us to live life our way and to show their sensuality, beauty, soul, and true essence. Here, we talk about what it's like to be 45 plus, adjusting to the changes that come with time, and we listen to the stories of our participants. If you have an interesting story, we'd love for you to participate. You can email us at info@alexandrawalker.com. That's Alexandra spelt with a K-S. Or visit our website, alexandrawalker.com.
Hello everyone and welcome to the My Body, My Story project. And today with us in the studio, Anne-Lill. And while she's sitting in the makeup chair and Chitra is doing makeup for her, we will talk and I will ask her a few questions. Hello Anne-Lill, welcome to the studio, welcome to the project.
Thank you so much. I'm quite a little bit nervous to be on this project. Looking forward to it, but
that's okay. That's normal. Yeah, and let's start and tell us 10 facts about yourself.
Yeah, let's see if I can keep it to 10.
Yeah.
First of all, as you can hear from my accent, I'm not Australian born. I'm from Norway. Met my husband in 2006, but I didn't move to Sydney until 2018.
Wow.
So I'm a relatively fresh Aussie. I got my citizenship last October, so now I'm definitely an Aussie.
Congratulations.
So that was fun. So we live in Alexandria.
Oh, I love this area.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And actually, we have a heritage building in front of us, and then they knocked down the warehouse and built a beautiful building where we were lucky enough to get an apartment. So we live there, my husband and I, and his daughter, Bianca, which is 22, and she works with films, strangely enough.
Oh, wow.
So we have a cat. She's almost 16 years old now. Siberian, beautiful ginger Siberian that came over from Norway with me. So she's a well-traveled cat. And a fun fact is her ticket cost more than my ticket. Very expensive. Both my husband and I, we've been in IT for many years. We're not anymore, we're both retired. We sold our companies. It doesn't mean we're not doing anything. We're both keen renovators. So when we stopped working, we bought an apartment and we spent a year fixing that one up. Then we bought another one and spent the last 8 months fixing that one up. Yeah. So that's some of the things we love to do. And
Is it just for yourself? Or?
So we fixed the first apartment, which is ours, and then the other one we bought was an investment apartment, which will be rented. So that will hopefully happen in a couple of weeks that it comes onto the market. Yeah. And then because we thought we didn't have enough to do with renovating 2 apartments, we said we need a hobby, so we bought a sailboat.
Oh.
So we have a sailboat, a catamaran, which we sail on occasionally. We don't use it enough at the moment, so we keep her up in Airlie Beach in a charter fleet. But we do sail, and we love it. And we've just done our certifications, and I'm just going to do my coastal skipper next year to be able to sail her all by myself in every waters. So I'm looking forward to that. A little bit scary, but
Is it sports one?
No, it's a catamaran.
Catamaran, yeah.
So it's made for leisure.
Yeah.
We call it a floating holiday house.
Yeah.
That way we can actually see whatever we want every day. And because we were lucky, we've been very lucky, my husband and I, both in IT. We sold 2 IT companies. And to give something back for how lucky we have been, we do some charity work. So my husband, he works for a charity that does mental health for men. So he volunteers for them. And I'm starting volunteering to do projects for other charities that need things done that can't afford to pay for. I need people to do smaller projects from them, for them, everything from project management to get a project done to maybe do some IT or technological stuff. So I will do that for them for free because, charities are non-profit. They don't always have the most money. And especially charities for children and animals. So that's what we do. So we're keeping quite busy, actually. I have a son. He is almost 40 because I'm 60. So, but he still lives in Norway and is happy with that. But I think it's busy enough having a 22-year-old living with us. Yeah. That's busy enough, I think. I think that might be about 10 facts, if I'm not too sure.
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
That's very interesting. So you said that where do you have any plans to sail? Do you sail in open sea, or do you just somewhere in the quiet waters?
So at the moment, we will sail the boat down the coast from Airlie to Brisbane over Christmas. But we're also sailing in the Mediterranean this year, but then we're renting a boat. Our plans is to be able to sail her off to Fiji or Vanuatu or New Caledonia and stuff like that. So sailing on the open sea, yes. That's the future plans. Yeah.
Wow, brave you. That's so. When you do the training, do they teach you some in case of the shark attacks? What do you do?
Oh, everything. So I can give you an example. So when I did my training to be a competent crew, first you have to do a lot of writing and written examinations. Then you spend 5 days on a boat in Sydney Harbour, living on board it with 2 instructors and a couple of other people, and then you have to prove that you are worthy to sail. So you have to do that.
I didn't know that. It's such a hard...
But it's fun. You learn a lot of stuff, and some of the things they learn about you is actually, the dangers about the sea. And especially up north where we have the boat, you got the sharks and you got those little horrible irukandjus, those little jellyfish, which is really dangerous.
Oh, really?
Yes. So you learn about that, but you learn about safety on the boat, how to save people if they fall overboard, how to get them back in, how to handle a boat. So you learn all of that stuff, which is very useful.
Yeah. Wow. But I still think that it's quite a brave thing to do, to sail in the open ocean or open sea, and you really have to be well prepared and a big fan of doing such things.
Oh, absolutely, because you can't stop for the night. You have to sail all through the night.
Yeah.
So you sail in shifts. 4 hours sleep, 4 hours sailing, 4 hours sleep, 4 hours sailing.
Wow. Okay, so talking about aging, let's move to this subject of aging. Like for me, it looks like quite a big stress for the body when you have to sail in shifts and not sleep enough. And so my question, so what does aging means to you?
Well, I've thought about that over the years, because when you're young, you never think you're going to get old. When you're old, you don't want to be that young again. If I look back when I was 20-ish, I'm very glad I'm not that person anymore, because I do have a lot more life experience. But aging is more than just your experiences. It's how your body kind of gets older and doesn't work the way you want it to do anymore. That I feel the worst. My body isn't as strong as I want it to be. I feel that's what gets me most with the aging. And one big thing, which I bet you hear from a lot of older women, the older you get, as soon as you pass 40, 45, you kind of become invisible. People don't see you anymore.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yes.
So I don't quite understand. But having my own business, I don't... I used to work in corporate, but it was when in my 30s. But I don't understand that as somebody who works in company. So what does it mean? Like what?
It is. You can walk into a shop and there's a lot of young people there standing in queue, and for some reason they don't really acknowledge you until you actually go up and say, "Listen, I need some help here." And workspace too. You tend to be overlooked a little bit when you come to promotions because you're not young and fresh anymore. Although you have all the experience needed, but because you're not that young, they kind of look past that.
Yeah.
And you feel like whatever you do, it's not good enough because you just happen to have a few years on you. And if you're 50-ish trying to get a new job, especially as a woman, it's almost impossible. Because they all want you when you're 30 or 35 or 40, with the experience you have when you're 50 or 60. Yeah. So I think it's slowly changing a little bit because people are getting more aware, but you still feel it. And you feel it especially when you go out, because you are older, people tend to just see straight through you.
Wow. So is it the same in Norway? Like it's, or it's a bit different? Or like
No, I think it's kind of a universal thing.
yeah.
I think it's very
similar.
universal, yes. But then again, you are what you make yourself to be. And if you just take it, well, then people will still look through you and just ignore you. Yeah. If you don't accept it and you actually make yourself present and make yourself known, it kind of changes a little bit, but you have to be willing to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
So for me, aging is also having the maturity and self-confidence to assert me into situations which I would never have done when I was younger, and actually have the courage to speak up. And to be honest, not care what other people mean as much anymore.
Very interesting. That do you think that aging, like what are the methods, or like what we can do to turn it around? Like you said, that women are being invisible. We're doing this project, and I know like a few other people who are doing projects for women over 45, and they're really good ones. And so it's like raising awareness. But do you feel like it's changing a bit with all that modeling agencies that attract like mature age models, or like it's a way to go?
Well, I think it's a way to go, but the problem is I've heard about these modelling agencies with more mature models, but where are they when you look at the ads? I don't see them. You see them as mothers or grandmothers in some ads, but I'm 60, I got money, I want to buy clothes, I want to be seen, I want to see myself in a fashion ad.
Yeah.
I want to see myself doing fun things. Not looking at the ad of the lady that's had bad knees and has to use Voltaren on her knees, and then suddenly she can walk out. That's when you see the more mature women in ads. I think it's totally wrong. Yeah. We want to dress nicely, we want to have nice hair, we want to have nice makeup, and we want to do fun things. It doesn't matter if you're 60 or 80 or 40, you still want to do those things, but you don't see it.
Yeah, so your brain is still in your like fresh state, and you still want to get some fun.
Absolutely. Age is but a number. It's only your body that betrays you, but your mind usually is quite fresh and eager to learn and eager to be part of things. I can't think of anything more annoying going into a shop. And you look at the clothes, and this is a shop where, you're supposed to have a good variety of clothes. And I want to buy a dress, and it's got 15 cutouts in it. I can't wear that. I won't even have room enough for my boobs or whatever, because it's cutouts here and there. Yeah. I just want to have a nice dress that fits me, not fits the 20-something. But it's difficult.
Yeah, for that, I think, like old days, people would go to what you call it, the person who makes clothing.
Yeah, the designers.
And do their own stuff, and like go and bring the material, and they would do I think it's about mass production, which is easy for companies to produce. That's why they're pushing this look of being slim. So they're not fitting clothes for you. They want you to fit into their clothes.
Yeah. And the thing is, the common size for women in Australia is size 14. If you go into any shop, what sizes are the ones that sells at 12 and 14 and 16? And they have like size 8s in abundance. Shouldn't that tell them anything?
Yeah, that's...
It just annoys me.
So you kind of answered this question, but still I would ask that if you could go back to any age, what it would be, why, and what advice would you give yourself at this age?
Well, I think if there's any age I would go back to, is probably my early 40s. Because you're still relatively young, but you have the experience that you can actually be more mature and self-secure and more self-conscious. And what I would tell to myself is actually one thing I thought about too, is listen to your gut, listen to yourself. Don't push forward because other people tell you to. Listen to yourself and believe in what you think is right. Don't do things because everybody else tells you it's the right thing to do. I think that's the one advice I would give myself and try to live by.
So moving to the body image questions, my first question is, what do you think are the main causes for body image issues? Like we touched a bit on that, but I want to develop that question a bit more.
I think one thing we didn't have, if I go back in time, one thing we didn't have when I grew up was mobile phones and social media. And I do remember we bickered, and, if somebody was too skinny or a little bit too chubby, they got bullied a little bit or picked on a little bit, as you always do, because there's always a normal and there's always been outside of normal. But what's happening now is that the new normal is totally unrealistic. It's airbrushed. It is changed picture where anybody looks like they don't have a waist, they have 4 meter long legs, they don't have blemishes on their skin, their eyelashes are 4 meters long. And it looks like that's the new normal. And that's what's been pushed everywhere by very, very young people. They call themselves influencers. I'm not sure what I want to call them, but definitely not an influencer. And it creates such an unrealistic image on how, not only for women, but for men as well. But for young girls, it creates such an unrealistic picture of how and what you should look like. We got a 22-year-old girl in the house. She is tall, she's normally slim. She doesn't have too much on top, but she's sporty, she's smart. And every day she doubts herself and how she looks. Every day she talks about body issues because everybody looks like this looks like that. I can't wear it just like this because I don't look like this when I wear it. So all the social media, and I think that's a main driver actually, the social media gives young people a very distorted view on how your body should look. And that follows them and translates into what they try to do. And then hence you got all, 15, 16, 17-year-olds asking their parents to do surgical procedures. They're not even 20 years old. They want to do Botox because they got a tiny little wrinkle in the forehead. Because the image they see everywhere on social media of what they surmise is their peers, they see these airbrushed, beautiful, made-up pictures of somebody that isn't even real, with filters. And because of that, I think we couldn't get a whole generation with young people, I include boys in this as well because it happens to them too, with a totally distorted image on how you should look and behave. And that's my opinion. It's one of my little, what do you call it?
5 pence.
Yeah.
Whatever.
5 cents.
Cents.
Yeah.
Your 5 cents.
That's my 5 cents, yes.
So, the million comes from different 5 cents.
Yes.
So, how do you think that body image issues or negative body image view on yourself can affect relationships? I'm talking about all sorts of relationships, like work.
I think if you're not happy in your own body, you kind of project that to everybody around you too. So, for example, if you are married and you're not happy or you don't think you look the way you should do, you could take away the intimacy and the connection with your husband because you feel like you can't show yourself or be yourself. If you're friends and you're always unhappy with how you look, they will, tend to look at you as a very negative person. And it just spirals on from there. And so having the possibility to actually think that body shouldn't be a fashion item, to be honest. A body is a body and we're all different. And we can't fit into one mold. Like one year you have to have no waist and long legs, the next year you have to be small and curvy. You just can't change yourself like that. So as long as we treat the body as a fashion item, I don't think we're going to resolve this issue at all. But I remember when I was younger, I had a lot of problems because when I was very young, I was very, very skinny. And it kind of affected everybody around me because all I did was complaining how skinny I was, clothes didn't fit. I didn't think about people having more relevant issues than being skinny. Now that I'm 60, I got the opposite problem. You put on weight when you get older, and it's very hard to get off.
Yeah.
But I decided, you know what, I got the weight, I just have to live with it and do the best I can with it. I don't want it to define me anymore.
So, but do you think, so we're talking about problems coming from within,
Yeah.
but do you think that other people also change the perception of you?
Oh,
of you
absolutely.
when you have this negative body image?
Absolutely. If somebody comes over to you and say, oh yeah, I love that dress, it's beautiful, but you look like you put on weight though. I mean, I would deck that person because I think it's so rude. And if that person happens to be insecure already, you're just actually adding to the insecurity and the issues on the body. You should never do that. You should always go over and say, I love your dress, you look absolutely gorgeous, and stop there.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, I don't think it's possible to change. Because if you get your notions about yourself constantly reinforced by people around you, how can you change? You can't.
That's true, yeah. So we need support from our relatives or close others.
Oh, especially your close ones.
Yeah.
You need their support. And, you know, they can help you, but they have to be supportive and positive.
So if you have any insecurities creep in from time to time, so what's your go-to method to deal with that?
Well,
And
I go shopping.
and then you go shopping and nobody notices you, and then you feel even worse.
Yes. No, I've learned a couple of tricks over the years. Is one of the things is to actually look at or listen to what they said and look at yourself and say, oh, is this really true? And then actually try to understand why they did so, because very many times it's because other people are insecure themselves. Exactly. And they try to put other people down. And we need, as women, we need also to learn to be a little bit more thick-skinned, because if we don't learn to be a little bit more thick-skinned, everything that everyone tells us will go straight into our hearts and brains and make it difficult. So actually being able to take 2 steps back and consider what they said, and then just tell yourself, you know what, no, I don't think that's right at all. And try to enforce that positivity yourself, because nobody else would do it for you.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's the question of perception. You
Yes.
know, whoever perceives,
Yeah.
you know.
And I know looking at myself in the mirror, I got a few kilos here and there too much, but my husband loves me, no matter what. And that counts for a lot.
So has it changed, this method, as you say, I go shopping with age? Or?
Yes, it has changed a little bit, because earlier I would go into a fit and cry and be generally miserable for a couple of days. And then I would try to diet or do anything bad to try to fix that problem, or, you know. But I realized it doesn't work. If you're going to make it work, you just have to accept yourself. If you don't accept yourself, whatever you do, shopping, surgical procedures, Botox, it doesn't matter. You will still feel like it doesn't work.
I will ask you a provocative question here. Like, don't you think it's someone can call it giving up on yourself? Like, not accepting yourself, but giving up on trying to bring yourself in a nice shape? Like, what's the...
Oh yeah, but I don't do that. I train three or 4 times a week. I go to the gym, I walk. I have some health issues that prevents me from running. But yes, I know I need, because I got a condition called psoriatic arthritis. If I don't move, I stiffen. I can't walk, I can't move. So for me, moving is living. And yes, but when you're 60, you're just past menopause and you can't run. It's very difficult to lose weight, I can tell you. But yes, I look at my food, I eat healthy, I exercise.
So you do everything you can?
I do everything I can, but within the limits I have.
Yep.
Within the limits I have. I don't go 7 days a week to the gym. I go 3 to 4 days. I walk when I can. I have a bike, which I love to use.
So you cannot say that you gave up on because
No,
you
I'm
do
not giving
things-
up.
Yeah.
But I don't want to let it get to me mentally.
Yep.
And that's why I'm saying I'm good enough. And whatever you say doesn't really matter as long as I'm happy about myself. Because if I take it in, I'll get depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not a good thing. But it doesn't stop me from doing things I want to do to try to keep my body in shape. Like going to the gym, go biking. I love swimming, so I try to swim when I can. I'm a strong swimmer, so... And I used to dance for many years, hence my bad knees and everything.
Oh, you cannot dance now.
I don't know, my knees are absolutely shot.
So, last question is if you have any favorite saying or quote about being a woman, or if you don't, maybe your own thoughts.
Well, there is, you might have heard this one, but never apologize about being a powerful woman and being yourself. Never apologize for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your answers. I really enjoyed the conversation. I hope you will have beautiful rest of the day.
I hope so too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
If you have an interesting story, we'd love for you to participate. You can email us at info@alexandrawalker.com. That's Alexandra spelt with a KS. Or visit our website, alexandrawalker.com.